With us at CultureShare is the lovely EASLYN Orr. EASLYN Orr is the Tobago monarch of 1990 and also the joint Calypso Queen of Trinidad and Tobago for Carnival 1990. EASLYN, since you have won those competitions, your performance has matured, I would say 100%. Would you agree that since winning those competitions, it sort of give you that stimulation to perform better?
Yes, it has. Well, let me say that each time that I'm on stage right now, I think I do a better job, right? The exposure that this year has given me and all like that, people that I have competed with and all like that, looking at their performance, I usually try my best to do better than them. And I think looking at the Dimashgra, I have worked towards that and I'm working towards it for next year. I have a couple of shows for the rest of the year and I think I'm gonna do great because I usually work very hard on my performance at home to put out my best when I'm in public. So I would generally say that it has matured me a whole lot.
Like David Rudder in 1986, the critics claim that EASLYN Orr just burst onto the scene. Why don't you give us, a brief synopsis of your background as a performer?
Well, I will not say that I just burst onto the scene because I have been singing calypso from since I was 11 years under a name that I would not tell anyone. But, I've been fighting from since then, trying, for people to listen to me, but I guess a couple of people used to listen, but then, nobody really looked at me as such. So I was there just screaming all those years, and I guess this year was just my year, finally somebody did listen, and here I am, and I feel really great.
Tell us about the relationship between you and well-known calypsonian Hollis Liverpool, who is known as the Mighty Chalkdust.
Well, we go back a very long way. I went to the Macrapo Senior Comprehensive School, the school that he taught, and when I reached there, people told me that, he was there, so obviously I wanted to meet him. I just thought that, in case, if he sees me, and if I push onto him, he might help me to go up there. And when I finally met him, he told me something like this: if you don't learn my subjects, I'm not gonna teach you calypso. So I fought onto his subject, and he helped me with calypso. And I guess it was from there, I started moving up. So I must say that I feel I'm very grateful for the help that he has given me. I passed his subject anyway, So I could say that he has been like let me say a stepping stone to my success.
EASLYN, you are, according to what I understand, 22 years of age. Most people in that age group are into, what we call the dub culture. In fact, in the album you put out for 1990 have a song called Culture Dub. What made you get into calypso music?
I think I was born with it because from since I knew myself as a little girl, I loved calypso. When I was in primary school, the early years of primary school, the teacher would ask, what would you like to be? And I would say something like this: I want to be a singer, because I love calypso. And even going back home in Goodwood, Tobago, where I'm from, people, they were telling me, I know one day you would have made it because I usually used to walk the road just singing these calypsos, just singing to myself, People sometimes even thought I was mad because I was just, singing, just singing. So let me say it, I was just born with it. I love calypso. Anyway, I usually write my songs. I love writing and all like that. So I must say it's in me.
You say you write your own songs, which is something a number of modern day calypsonians are criticized for. Not too many well-known people in the business write their own songs. You were able to be very business oriented in singing two social commentaries at the Dimashgra in Trinidad's 1990 Carnival, and you recorded two different songs which, applies to quote-unquote the commercial market. Was this done deliberately?
No, it was not. Let me say, I bought one of those songs from GB, who is a well-known writer in Trinidad and Tobago, and I composed the other one, put the both of them on record, and I just sat back and said, okay, I'm going to use those two for the competitions. But I started looking at what the other Calypsonians had. As a matter of fact, I went to all the tents, like easy, and sat down and listened to all the Calypsonians. So I was monitoring the performances. I said, EASLYN, you can't make with those stuff that these guys have. So I went and I started writing. So I wrote, I had Woman Respect Yourself before. I had that. I said, I don't think that is going to make. I went back to the tents again. Easy. I used to sit in the back there listening to them. Really easy. And I wrote Poor Man's Cry after. And when I looked at the both of them, Woman Respect Yourself and Poor Man's Cry, I said, I think you're ready for them now. So while they were there singing, out there, I was just easy watching them, I really looked on. So I just didn't go into the competition open. Even the day before the Calypso Queens competition, Denise came and asked me a question like this: what do you have for the Queens competition? And I refused to tell her because she knew that I had something new. But so let me say, I was just watching all of them, and I went up there with my 2 new songs.
Yeah. You grew up in Tobago, which is a sister isle of Trinidad. Many times people think that in Tobago, you work twice as hard, to be successful, since most of the focus is on Trinidad, in particular Port of Spain, around the carnival time. Tell us a bit about your life on that beautiful island we call romantic Tobago.
Well, let me say, it's nice. I have been back and forth a whole lot because, as you just said, most of, let me say, Calypso and all like that is focused on Trinidad. And I left Tobago when I was 16, adventurous. Trinidad, I went to get into a tent, I wanted everybody to know me. And I have been back and forth every year to sing in the Calypso tent because it's not well recognized in Tobago. So let me say this. I don't think if I had stayed in Tobago and sang in a tent up there, I would have gotten that far. I don't think so. I really don't think so. I sang with the review, and I was exposed to a whole lot. I had the opportunity to go to visit different tents and all like that. So let me say, Tobago replaced sort of behind. So I usually I'm back and forth. As when people ask me, where do you live? I say I live in the and in between, because I'm back and forth so often. So I think you have to move down to Trinidad to get piece of the action then,
I hear that. Very interesting comment. Tell me, EASLYN, it's understood that you are pursuing education seriously. For the viewing audience, I'm thinking I'm on the radio, I'm not. For the viewing audience, tell us a bit about your educational background.
Well, let me say that I went to school. It was not easy at all. Really, it was not easy because somehow I would sit here and say at this point in time, if I really had the financial backing that I needed, I would have had a master's by now because I don't want to boast, but I think I have brains. I really do. I love books. It's one of my hobbies, studying. I love to study. So I got 5 passes in school. Didn't really come easy. And I started with some A-levels, but the books were that much expensive and I could not have afforded it. So I dropped it. I've only picked it up back lately because I want some money, So after, and I know I'm going to get at least 2 A-levels, I want to apply to some university up here, in New York. I'd like to come up here sometime next year to study music to the greatest extent. I want to know everything in music and return to my country where I want to teach it to younger folks and all that kind of stuff. Maybe find some way that it could open some place in the university down there to have somebody to teach music, which that person I think should be me, and probably have my own school to have classes and all like that. I want to be into music. So that's one of my goals in life.
It's good to know you have alternative goals set. I understand that you are the lead vocalist for the well-known band Song Revolution. You care to tell us how you were able to secure that? I mean, I think to be the lead singer of a band, be it Chandelier or Charlie's Root or Song Rev, it calls for an extra special person. What gave you that job?
What gave me that job? It was very hard. It was one of the hardest thing I've ever fought for in my whole life. I'm serious, because about 50 girls tried out for the band, and I had to work so hard. Came down to about 3. Finally, the guys, I was like not the best voice, but the guys, I was the favorite, and that is how I got chosen in Song Rev. When I ended up in the band, something called harmony, I knew nothing about it. I almost got kicked out, so it did not come easy. And right now, Song Revolution means the world to me. Let me say, we're like a family, and they really love me and everything. And now more than ever, I think I'm in the band for good. Yeah.
So you believe that proving yourself in what we call the big yard has certainly secured your place as lead singer of Song Rev?
Obviously. Obviously. I wouldn't say, I wouldn't boast and say, okay, they would not throw me out now and go in there and probably act a weird way or something like that, some bad attitude or anything like that. Let me say, I'm a nice, quiet, easygoing person, so I'm not going to change. So I don't see why they should really, kick me out now. I haven't done anything.
Let me take you along the lines of family. Kids, married, husband, boyfriend. I mean, what is EASLYN or extracurricular activity? I mean, what do you do after singing calypsos, after studying? We want to get a bit here of the spice. What's happening with EASLYN or?
Well, let me say this, and I like the whole public to listen to this. At present, I'm very much single. I'm not really looking for someone, but I know there's some special guy out there for me. So when I do meet him, I pray to God that I'll know. But right now, there's one special guy in my life. He's my son. He's 1 year and 5 months. Let me say that's the guy that I'm living for. That's the guy that I'm in love with and everything like that. And my family, my mother, she's alive. My father is alive. I have 6 sisters and 1 brother, very big family. And let me say they're all backing me. But let me repeat again, I'm single. SINGLE.
Well, I reckon that the viewers will be contacting Gentleman Production to contact EASLYN or. Spicy, I must add. EASLYN, what can we expect from you in the future? I mean, what does EASLYN or intends to do after singing calypsos? Does EASLYN or intend to compete next year in the Calypso Queen final again, in the Dimanche Gras final again? Will EASLYN or get up tomorrow and say, let me leave calypso alone and sing some kind of a jazz, blues, rock, something? What is EASLYN or's agenda?
No way, calypso. I love calypso. I think in the morning, if somebody gets up and tell me, you can't sing calypso again, I'll tell them, okay, kill me, because I love calypso that much. But anyway, for next year, I have great plans. I want to win that Calypso Queens competition again by myself this time, though. And I like to also win the Dimanche Gras. I came that close to winning it. I was the first runner-up. So next year, I want to win it. I want to win the Tobago Monarch again. I think I want to win everything, I'm serious.
EASLYN, before we wind things up, will you care to give any sort of a message to the young people of the viewing audience?
Yes, I will. As a young person, please don't tell me I'm older. I like to tell all those youths out there, they're much better things than drugs, because it seems like that's the latest and you're just being involved in it because your friend, or sister or whoever it might be, they're involved in it. There are much better things out there. Please do something constructive, whether or not maybe take a walk in the park, get into some kind of like sports or something like that, or read a book. But there's no hope in dope, as we say. So if you're on it, go to some kind of center or something and try to get off, or listen to somebody who knows drugs. There's no hope in dope. So please, I've noticed a whole lot of youths, being involved in that crap, and I think it's really crap. no way am I gonna get on drugs. So please stay off. Try to do something constructive with your life. I have done it, and it feels really good to be on top of the world.
You heard it here on Culture Share, EASLYN ORR, the first runner-up in the 1990 Dimas Gras competition, also the joint queen of TNT Carnival 1990, and Tobago's monarch for 1990. I'm Eric St.BERNARD for Culture Share.